Hola. Somebody's awful quiet.
Not many sites are giving good information. They've been deplatformed. Oh, but you can check out Parler. Everyone's talking about Parler. Everyone's such followers. They was talking about Sheeple, but these guys are such followers. No change in the operational plan. Very unlikely that Joe Biden will become anything other than a Mr. Biden. What a ridiculous statement that illustrates how shallow Simon Parks' political commentary and analysis skills are. Joe Biden, until the time he hits dirt, is Vice President Joe Biden, right? It's one of those titles that attach. When we speak about any living president, when we speak about any dead president or vice president, they are forever and a day president. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, President George H.W. Bush, President George Washington, and it goes for vice presidents as well. It is proper to address Joe Biden for the day. You don't address Joe Biden as Dr. Biden. You don't address him as Mr. Biden. When he's introduced at public appearances, when he's introduced at private functions,
and that's why
Mr. Vice President.
I take this seriously as far as my rights. My rights to make a citizen's arrest. My rights to be heard.
This is not
my rights for the evidence to be brought forward. And my event.
Facebook have removed the title President-elect.
To not be harassed.
They removed that label President-elect, which is interesting because this is kind of a spin on the story that Donald Trump had actually been kind of demoted on social media platforms.
I can't stand that when he says transformative work, like it saves him. Like he transforms it into something just so
YouTube, Twitter
incredible.
Take their cue from. So he's talking about the social media dropping the term president-elect from Joe Biden's social media. This is, it's been a week and a half since Twitter famously first made the move to change the titling on President Donald Trump's thing. So if they're removing it for President-elect Joe Biden, it's probably in preparation of the fact that not that they're taking, I mean, what is he suggesting? That the social media that up to this point have been quote-unquote deplatforming the conservative people are all of a sudden in on it, that they're going that Joe Biden has won and that Donald Trump is going to remain president? Come on. This is fantasy land.
This covers up the misinformation and also
the media can't give you that label.
Scamming and
only electoral commission can give you that label. It's academic. Whether that's them being careful, the Senate hearing committee is ramping up.
It's my records.
He doesn't know.
He
doesn't know anything because he's got no insiders. He's like me. He's talking on the internet.
A group of co-conspirators to crash in the
economy,
the government, the people, and I'm still out here in the cold.
Some sort of technical issue, red screen came up.
That's because he is broadcasting illegally. Squatting on me. I am my property. You know he doesn't know what to say because he knows I'm here. He can hear every word.
So for truth seekers to take notice of, I think technical difficulties of the PNC documentary airing, it all means something. Remember the classic days of conspiracy theories, theorists complaining when there's an interruption in their Google Hangouts or their Zoom meetings. It's the CIA. We're saying too much important things on our YouTube channels with 12,000 subscribers.
Watching and observing since the moment I came online.
The attack on the company.
Onto social media.
Which was working out of Canada.
2014.
Based in Germany. The hardware was in Canada. HQ.
Tag baby Hitler.
HQ and county body was in Canada. But the software and hardware was in Germany?
No. Totally Tucker Randy Loggins claims to
safe house for the CIA. Taking the cues. Okay, so we're getting it. So we're now implicating the CIA. The story is evolving and changing. Whether he's going off of some aspect of conservative social media that website traffic that I'm not seeing, or whether he's just putting his own personal spin on things in order to maintain relevance, like he's got some secret information. The company that Lou Gomer was talking about, SkyTel, he alleged was originally formed in Louis Gomer alleged that the company SkyTel was formed in Barcelona and had moved to Germany and was based in Germany, and that's where their servers that were attached to the were
IP server out of California.
SkyTel made a public statement saying, "Hey assholes, we've never been in Germany. We've got nothing to do with what he's alleging. We didn't do anything that he's alleging we did technically or could do technically." Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. None of our stuff was seized by the U.S. Army in Germany. Now, Simon Park seems Terry Joyce is in the house.
You can sign up for whatever country you want.
You're a celebrity.
But
Terry
like
Joyce,
how you doing?
Good to see you here. Good to see you here.
Let's say you're multicultural and you get involved in the Black Lives Matter psyop and you call yourself African American.
Terry Joyce.
But you're really biracial, but you're just working an edge.
So apparently the story has been...
They'll send you back to your home country and take you serious.
We are jelly.
Oh, and just about where I live, considering we were military families, we were allowed to buy property and live in a radioactive uranium mine.
They're Canadian.
So many people just want to throw us out and just wipe away the evidence that is beyond ridiculously obvious.
It's crazy, but that's an evolution of the story. So I'm telling you, you're certainly.
He called me crazy.
So now he's saying that the building in Germany was a multi-occupancy building, where the CIA are also located. So I guess he's trying to get the CIA involved in all this. We'll see where he goes with this. And that would be very interesting because you're now alleging that the Army and the CIA are at odds.
Says
I don't think so, but we'll see.
You have no idea who is in alliance to the honor code.
CIA elections in other countries. So we know that Simon Parks has watched Lou Dobbs and he's following Sidney Powell. This is easy. This is fun.
Says a man who's
Canada's on the border of the United States. That's not where they needed the work to be done. SEAL Team 6. Elements of that.
He's tagging Max Spears with number 6.
But he's going to say, don't imagine lots and lots of soldiers again rushing in. He's going to say, imagine a concentrated strike groups because this is a repeat of information he said before. SEAL Team 6 is like a mythological SEAL team that doesn't actually exist. I believe they were attached to the theory regarding Bill Broadbreaker, I think, claimed to be a member of SEAL Team 6. So let's see what this actually does. I'm just going to do a quick search for SEAL Team 6.
Could you imagine if your fake government gave briefings like CW does?
Oh, they're the United States Navy component of the Joint Special Operations Command.
I have a special one today that Blue chunks all over hashtag Kraken last night. So we'll bring that into evidence today too. But
moniker.
CW's live at 1:36
other equivalents
p.m.
are in the
Central
US
Standard
Force
Time in my
of
world.
Delta Force.
Wherever he claims to be.
And so they go after high-value targets.
It's all back to...
This is the thing. So let's see. So I was
servers that were abducted by these hackers.
Very skilled technical people. They had to understand both work remotely and physically at this location.
And I do that, and everybody looks the other way and acts like they don't know me.
Those of you who've listened to me for some time.
They act like this is a comedy skit in reality TV, which I highly object to.
Only tell reports. Normally, Simon Parks only reports when he's gotten the information from 2 or 3 separate sources. Imaginary bullshit sources. No one talks to Simon Parks. He's a friggin' driving instructor. God bless him. Not that that's a bad profession. If you look back on his last 10 years...
Especially if you're stuck in a video
simulation. You just said, if you look back on my last 10 years, you will see, it's being quite rare or something about him being wrong, I guess. The last 10 years will bring us to 2010. Simon Parks did not enter the public consciousness until 2013, when there was a BBC documentary made about him, basically mocking him. There was also a small magazine article about him, basically mocking him for his claims to go off-planet to have sexual relations with an alien being known as
off-planet
Cat Queen. You may have won this round, Cat Queen, but me and Robin have messed with plenty of cat women.
Is a
Your Royal Monitor notwithstanding, I'm sure I'll be able to find my way out of this one. Adam West, you like that? I didn't even know I had it in there. Adam West. It's Adam West. Get it? Batman.
Yeah, you're Batman on the Kill Company.
So big. Coming with the money. 19 bucks, baby. 1999. Your video on the coup, Donald J. Trump lawyer was awesome. Would make a good primer for newbies to conspiracy world. Love you, brother. I'll be about 30 minutes behind as I got to hear the beginning of this one. God bless you. God bless you for dropping the coin. God bless you for hanging out and being with us. Back to Simon Parks' douchebaggery.
I never even watched him.
He's always had a stopgap safeguard where he gets information from third sources or additional sources.
Follow around and waste time on.
But now he's only got this one from one location. You could definitely tell us there was an electronic takeover. I can definitely tell you there was a physical presence in that location.
They mined my data, stole the cookies,
you can only tell us that there was,
took over every website that single
there was not a gun battle, but there was a standoff.
Begun a war. And I had never
between
been
the local field
online
operators. There wasn't a gun battle. Don't believe anyone tells us that there was a gun battle, but there was a standoff between the local field operator of that
crimes against humanity. I can't see
building, I guess.
Where that's so hard to figure out.
Who drew a pistol?
Yeah, you guys drew first blood. Tag it.
There was a debate.
But I admit that I have a small firearm here. If anybody breaches these doors, they will need that weapon. So they take the phone.
To show the professionalism of the military.
And the microwaves.
And trying to understand what was going on. He was wounded. Not fatally, but wounded. This is such bullshit. First of all, who reports this? Who in military high command, who was privy to the secret operations of SEAL Team 6, decided to break protocol and release confidential and classified information, not to the New York Times,
the welfare of not only a lady,
not even to Fox News or to Lou Dobbs,
someone in the trenches,
but to Simon Parks.
No, it's not.
Alien contactee with 53.7 thousand subscribers on YouTube.
This is the bullshit.
This
is the alias.
I'm not saying that there's
this
no
is the fictitious name. This is the mask. This is the ghost in the machine.
Believe is a secret military insider who is willing to tell this nonsense, but who doesn't? There was a standoff between one guy who drew a pistol and then the U.S. military. And then the guy was completely gunned down and was wounded because they were showing their professionalism. If it sounds like someone's describing a scene from a movie, it's not real.
Beta boys that pick on women.
What a load of horse crap.
Abuse them. Real men to take care of. Otherwise, there's nothing to live for.
Here's one source telling the CIA operator was wounded. Okay, so the U.S. military fired on a CIA operative. Sure, that happened. Not a gun battle, but a standoff. Excuse me, dickwad. If you get shot, it's a gun battle. That has occurred. The information has been 100% secured from that electronic display. When a raid was done in the same type of facility in Spain. Okay, so now we're covering our asses.
I'll tell you what.
Now we're covering our asses. Louis Gohmert says that a Spanish company had their servers stolen in Germany. SkyTel comes out and says we're a Spanish company and not in Germany.
Or these guys with the sodomy rape story.
He repeated Louis Gohmert's whole line about the U.S.
But they all do it together.
Servers in Germany. He's now maintaining that because he already told us that, so he can't tell us that we're mistaken. The sources were mistaken.
Knowing me.
Look that. But now he's going to tell you that simultaneously with the German seizure, there was also a Spanish seizure. Let's have a cake.
Go back to the Kraken, the Spanish Inquisition.
And none of this happened.
In the United States, and the Louisiana Purchase being
He has
sold
information on the attack on the facility in Chile.
But originally stolen. Stolen and sold twice. Tag Indian.
He hasn't been told it's been targeted. We might not need to do that.
That's our political process these days. They're Indian givers.
There's a this is great. This is the map that's hit the ground. He says he thanks people for sending him this map. This map has also been retweeted by Jordan Sather, not Jordan Sather, Justin Duchamp's my new favorite agent of Falun Gong associated with Edge Wonder.
If you can't bring the right name, you shouldn't.
This is it's circulating on Twitter and no doubt Facebook, and it shows the entire country is red. There's like two states that are including red California. Democrats even lost California, and even California loves Donald Trump.
He
apparently even won the vote in San Francisco. Sure, yeah, right. This is, and what's the source for this? It's not sure on Twitter. Now they're claiming that the intel. It just so happens that when they seized the German
the high winds or the
servers, before that information went
from
to
the weapons that have been
the senatorial committees, before it went to a federal judge and the Supreme Court for review, before any of that happened, before any of this evidentiary support in any lawsuit, or before it was brought to mainstream media like Fox News or anything like that, it was put on Twitter and Facebook. And it just so crazy that the map that was generated looks exactly like the Google map, the electoral map
right
that
outside
Google
the door,
represents,
the big
it's just
global map,
changed
the big Google Doc,
to show all red states,
50 yards away from this house.
So they see these servers, and it's just childish.
My dad,
you guys are believing the childish things. Joe Biden's going to be president. We got
manipulated, and my life has been stolen. It's not about a phony president debate.
He's not a researcher. If you're not a researcher, you don't go online. He's not a researcher. He doesn't get this stuff by looking online. He gets it by his sources. Sure you do.
They say if you're the source, then you're in more trouble for using books that are the source. Tag that.
He actually wrote on his blog a few weeks ago. He said on his blog, wouldn't it be exciting if California went to Donald Trump?
Tag Paradise. And those nice old people.
He admits that he can't verify the map.
Pandemic. And a displacement.
But the projection was that California voted for Trump.
Where'd they go? Nobody cares. Nobody knows. I mean, that's why they're tracking
The voter
votes.
fraud exceeds 1.8 million.
Maybe they just want to see
across the United States.
who liked my ideas out of a talking head, but hated me. That's the best human technological
You're familiar from what you've read about with electronic fraud,
transpired.
electronic voter fraud, and physical voter fraud. What is really encouraging?
You guys just wanted to get people out to vote because there were sick plants out there, which I didn't consent, as I've said over 100 times. That doesn't make me un-American for standing up when you see injustice.
He's saying that the main legal team has said that we know that Donald Trump will be the president for the next 4 years, and that they know Joe Biden will be arrested.
So you know
I'm not aware of Sidney Powell saying that. I'm not aware of Giuliani saying that. But Biden being arrested, certainly.
None of us can stand on that and say we guarantee we'll be here in 4 years.
The senior lawyer said that Biden was a murderer. Let me look this up. Hold on. We can do this.
Whoever allowed these weapons to be fired through the microwaves and the cell phones in protected airspace in Ferguson,
we know that it was alleged that she had said
May 29th, 2019,
more than enough evidence to
and
indict Joe
August
Biden.
4th, 2020.
Who says this?
We have been a militarized war zone since 2014.
So this is Lou Downs. Hold on. Oh, Sidney Powell seems to be at it again. Well, this is actually from October 23rd, 2020. She says there's more than enough evidence to indict Joe Biden.
But they're really mocking Lucille Ball.
Says Sidney Powell. Well, big fucking deal. And then remember, she's not the senior head of the thing. Though many people are claiming this. They just happen to be also the fringe media here.
He won't state what he means.
What's going on?
Because he's weaving and spell
Sidney Powell
and
says
shit all over the place. And then he asks for God's help.
And she's also saying Republicans say Biden lied about the Flynn case, but remember, she's not disinterested because she represents General Michael Flynn, who admitted his guilt to the courts. So I think some parts might just be making up stuff. I don't know.
David Wilcock is caster in the government.
He's going to say lawyers generally have a job and make good money.
There's Channer's collusion in it.
He said this could turn out to be ironic, or this could turn out to be
problematic,
prophetic. He said that
it is prophetic.
It'd be amazing. Basically, suggesting that because lawyers make good money and have years invested in their practice, that they would be careful about what they say. Yeah, right. Because if Sidney Powell has said these things and they turn out not to be true, then if Joe Biden is president, she might not have a job for that much longer. Well, meanwhile, I don't think that Joe Biden is going to try and do anything, to Sidney Powell to get her disbarred. But she might actually have a fantastic job because there's a whole lot of money to be made in telling people what they want to hear. You will get paid a lot of money.
Which is why people sell out.
The Mercer family and the Koch brothers and stuff.
Mercer is an infection.
Saying stuff about the people in power. Tons. They're confident in what they've seen, what they know. Okay.
I have lived my life and
roadmap for President Trump to stay in the White House.
To relate to anybody. Unless they're ignorant.
6 alternative different scenarios. If we do this, they do that.
And if they're college educated, they can't be ignorant. They gotta be compromised.
This guy's gonna outlet. I think he's gonna outline.
Our education is irrelevant, even for the kids.
I think we can do this. We're 10 minutes and 23 minutes in. He's got 28 minutes. He's going to lay out plans for Donald Trump to stay in office. He says he's got 6 years. Let's go through them.
So tag that. And these alternative media.
But he can't tell us what the middle ones are because, he's on the inside secret special need to know list. The dog catcher from California.
The answer.
Go to the public, share the information, expose the bad guys. Sounds so easy, it probably won't happen.
Risk your life.
That's a preferred option.
Be embezzled.
Simon Parks likes it.
Have your money stolen. Be cyber raped by Channer. Be mocked, belittled, and threatened to not only be suicidal, but to lose one's mind.
But they will have confidence in Simon Parks, who's been telling the truth about the demented mother, about Anu being the space god, about the sexual relations with alien cat queen. Sure.
What is wrong with you? You live in a cartoon.
Very last option. Well, you can't tell us about the middle four because he's in the secret. Last, I'll just put a ring of soldiers around the White House and prevent anyone from knocking on the door. You gotta be kidding me. So let's just run through this. So Simon Parks says that there's 6 options. He can't tell us about the middle ones, which are apparently the middle 4, but he can tell us about the first option and the last option. The first option is, get this. This is crazy. You would need to be explaining this slowly. You take the evidence, right, of the election fraud and the wrongdoing,
and invert it,
and you bring it to the public, and you show them exactly the who, what, where, when, and how,
with the real names
of how the election was stolen. That's option number 1. Simon Parks endorses that. He can't tell us about the middle options, options 3 through 5.
Then it's all irrelevant.
Because I guess by logical deduction, we can assume that Simon Parks is suggesting that he, Simon Parks,
that makes an ass out of him and
town council, right? Former driving instructor, now professional psychic and healer, right? Is somehow like on the need to know list.
Just because you're
childish, ridiculous, self-aggrandizing fantasies that do not comport with reality.
That's kind of like a handler.
That's the name of the game for people like Simon Parks, David Wilcock, Damon Brinkley, Danon Brinkley, whatever his name is, Mendoza, Carrie Cassidy, Mark Richards.
There's no such person as Carrie Cassidy.
Oh, and then he says the last option is that the army surrounds the White House. That's called a military coup. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Q, David Wilcock and Simon Parks
try me as a witch
consistently
and you guys are the witches.
Argue for a political process that is by default
the Vatican and
a perfect match for the definition of a military coup. We know the election is fraudulent, so we're justified in ignoring the election results and taking over.
Oh, we damn well can live in our houses because we're military. And we're given the rights to live in a toxic uranium dump.
And Veterans Day, and patriotism, and grandma.
You have no respect.
And military coup. Fucking right. I'd be upset if these people weren't jokes.
Do you really think I'm joking? If you do, use my name, call me out,
He's not been permitted to tell us
I'm making jokes.
The other options because they would give the hand away. Because
I've already made the citizens arrest too many times.
Are monitoring Carrie Cassidy.
You are highly volatile and dangerous.
These guys are so important, and they're saying such important things. That's why, guys like them and David Icke. These guys aren't even David Icke. These guys aren't even Alex Jones.
You just admitted it.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
The self-aggrandizing fantasy serves
you make up all those names
serves their purpose by advertising themselves
and
as
say I am not a woman.
Someone worth subscribing to, someone worth paying money to for a psychic service.
That's you guys and your tarot cards and Ouija boards
and people to be participant observers in the life.
Gambling.
If you join Simon Parks' Connecting Consciousness, and Simon Parks is connected to higher echelons of world affairs and government, then you are connected. You're no longer a douchebag, loser, freaky, shut-in incel from Birmingham. You're no longer a dope-smoking, beer-drinking, shut-in at the double
you got to be somebody important
You're somehow part of the solution. You're somehow plugged in to the mass awakening that everyone knows is occurring worldwide.
I've always been plugged in.
This is exactly how cults operate.
Long before I joined YouTube.
You're part of something special.
Or Facebook.
Which makes you special.
Or any of this
You came here and you found yourself involved in a religious cult oftentimes because you're searching for answers, and a lot of the answers you're searching for is, why don't I feel like
I'm important? The answers.
Why don't I feel
And that's why you mock them.
Why don't I feel recognized?
Because it makes you weak and impotent.
The needs of the ego are many and a mighty motivator. That's the level of thinking going on. Trump seemed very clear how this was achieved, how this was done. They watched it in real time. He wants to confirm for us the executive order that was done just a little while ago. America's under a state of emergency. That's why the military was able to. That's why the military was authorized to go in. Oh, and you see, because if hold on, remember my whole argument about the U.S. Army not being allowed to enter foreign soil that
is locked down like a chastity belt.
The argument or the theory that the U.S. Army had seized property of a Spanish company in Germany. Well, now Simon Parks is telling us that there was an executive order putting America on an emergency footing, which then justified the U.S. Army seizing the CIA safe house. So the reason that the U.S. Army
Ferguson has been militarized
was because they weren't seizing the
6 years.
They were seizing the U.S. property, the CIA safe house. However, Mr. Parks again shows his, first of all, it's a ridiculous save, and now we know that Simon Parks is watching my broadcasts, covering them. We know you.
Everybody watches me when I go live. That's where your false ego is the worst,
stories and lies.
Because you make it all about you and just lie.
Processing life
and you just have diarrhea of the mouth.
Come to terms with your
every
identity.
Day.
Come to terms with the reality of life.
And then you cancel stuff and you take it down.
I wish you well.
And you run away.
Love for you. Thank you for providing
like
this entertaining discourse and missive.
Plus, you are a child.
The U.S. Embassy in Germany is U.S. soil.
You got
the US
5
Army
years
to
to
be
get
stationed.
your
The U.S. Army has a base in Germany since World War II. They can act on that base under limited circumstances.
Like a zero.
But there's no international treaties that say that Americans can go after Americans on foreign soil. I'll give you a perfect example. The German government can't arrest a German citizen in the U.S. You would need the U.S. authorities to arrest them.
You can't hide me in the U.K.
to extradite them to
and
Germany.
Say I'm not broadcasting.
Germany could request that the U.S. authorities seize an individual, but the German authorities can't act. To the best of my knowledge. I'm not an international lawyer, but I know this much.
The computer misuse after the UK, which is why they put me under the UK to blame
the president's under a state of national emergency. No, he's not. So the U.S. Army knows that they're protected and are working within the realms of the Constitution. No, that's such a lie. He's just making up lies. Simon Parks is just making up lies. Why not lie? I'm the president of the United States.
Because
I'm Simon Parks' father. I traveled back in time to bang his alcoholic mom. I was like, And then Simon Parks was born. I looked at him and I was like, oh, I'm out. Spreading lies. They're not spreading lies or disinformation or attempt to usurp the truth. I have never
spread lies or disinformation. That's you. That's your big
So all those mainstream American and not just American channels.
You call it alien
TV
conspiracy.
Channels.
You're the bug. It is Men in Black.
Oh, the mainstream media in America and elsewhere that are reporting that Donald Trump didn't win could be held responsible for spreading disinformation, for reporting the facts.
Well, then you've got billions of people.
For supporting treasonable action. You need to prove their negligence. You need to prove that they knew there was a treasonable action. And given the fact that there's reason why the media didn't just say, we choose Joe Biden. It seems to make that sense, or our poll numbers show that. They took the election results that were being reported by the election officials in the various counties and states, aggregated that, and understood that Joe Biden had won the election. This is not rocket science. And denial is not just
it's manipulation of people's energy.
Treason means that You don't get a slap on the wrist of the United States.
You're very guilty of treason against
treason means you don't get a slap on the wrist of the United States. George Papadopoulos lied to the FBI about his knowledge of the information regarding the interactions between the Trump election, the Trump campaign in 2016, and Russian agents and operatives. He served, like 12 days?
He used Elvis to promote an agenda.
General Michael
I just want to know if he said it
guilt
or if they manipulated it.
Along the same lines.
And I never was answered.
And is now being represented by the same attorney who was trying to get his confession reneged and curried political power to try and get Attorney General Barr, who actually did interfere with the Constitution of General Michael Flynn, who after the fact tried to,
all it did was start a war.
You know what was happening with General Michael Flynn is that he was indicted, tried, convicted, and confessed to the crimes in a plea bargain. Then after the fact, the Attorney General, Donald Trump's handpicked Attorney General, interceded after having a conversation with Donald Trump's current attorney, Sidney Powell, to just basically drop the charges. After it's already been convicted. It's not guaranteed that the judge in the General Michael Flynn case is going to drop the charges because, you know what I mean, they're aware of the fact that we've had, all this stuff is actually taking place.
Just because people say, oh, we
it's so
were wrong
complicated.
about
It's all
her.
because of Donald Trump's
That doesn't mean
corruption.
no good.
The most corrupt president the United States of America has ever seen, bar none, and that includes Richard Milhouse Nixon within recent historical memory. This is just insane, and the fact that conspiracy theory culture advocates are the ones coming to the president's defense indicates to me that there was a psyop brainwashing operation through the manipulation of social media. And these are the same people that say good things about Putin, who was a member of the KGB. Get the fuck out of here.
No, it's public airwaves. Viral, digital, and you're on mine. Don't tell me to get out of anywhere.
He's saying treason, you don't get community service.
I've never even been guilty of a crime.
If you do treason, you're dealt with a quasi-military court. Not true.
You can't bring up an inquisition.
So I guess Simon Parks is suggesting that mainstream media reporters and owners are going to be put into military tribunals for their persecution of Donald Trump and the spreading of this false information about him losing the election. I believe that's going to happen. I think the Simon Parks, Kerry Cassidy,
CW is hateful because he knows about the leaked projects, Illuminati deck, and how they throw their cards on top of the real person.
20 days.
And that's what all these idiots have been doing. And that's been since, I would say, 2014.
And again, Simon Parks knows nothing. He was a former driving instructor, now full-time online psychic. Pay him X number of pounds, and he'll talk to you about your past lives as a star-steed Palladian.
I already know about my other.
Oh, he'll also do all sorts of weird sexual, quasi-sexual ceremonies with you involved in what's known as courting. I know Simon Parks' whole story, left, right, up, and center.
You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground.
Not a bad-looking guy.
You think
I would
you
do something
look
with his
good.
fashion. I wouldn't do the avuncular thing.
You've gained
Get
60
like a
pounds
suit and tie going on.
since you start online.
Maybe even like roadmaps he's been privy to look at. Simon Parks has been privy to look at some of the roadmaps to Donald Trump's election.
I think that was his jazz hand.
He's 100% convinced there's a massive fraud.
The face and nose is bugging him.
Deliberate attempt to
Always the
interfere with the
beard.
election.
Whereas bug patches.
By software that was designed to affect everyone else's election. So he's
That was
picking up
back
the
in the
Sammy
90s.
Powell story of the smart tech software technology designed
software,
in foreign
start your
countries
own
like
business.
Venezuela, specifically Venezuela, to flip elections for the socialists and communists. The communists, 20-year nostalgia route, 40-year
Next
nostalgia
thing you
route.
know, he's screaming the
1980.
Russians are
The
coming. The Russians
communists.
are coming.
those goddamn pinko Russian communists. They did everything. But Putin's good now because he's no longer a communist, right? Russia's not
maybe Channer has Judas
are people that
on his deck.
Right?
You think? The person that just always lies to you and deceives you. And it is a little baby and pulls Constantine at the end and says, forgive me. And they throw holy water on him and he croaks. I don't know.
He's fairly relaxed in the sense that he believes the British newspapers.
Focus, Channer.
The British newspapers are reporting a world apart from what the information that he's receiving. So I would definitely believe in Simon Parks' alien contacts versus,
Tag extraterrestrial. Tag universal.
He's getting this information from people who really do know within the United States.
It started here.
He's not talking about his coordinators.
It went global, and it came back in. Just like this atomic bomb.
Paid to do a job.
Okay. It's been going on 70 years, Channer. You can't even.
And then they're forwarding the information to him. Mainstream media is trash. His insider sources know the real deal, and of course, they're bringing the information to him.
You're all trash. You're all sellouts.
Now, Boris Johnson in self-isolation. Oh my God, Boris Johnson is in isolation, not because of COVID-19, but because he's in hiding. Remember, just a few weeks ago, Boris Johnson was a hero, right? Because he was basically the Donald Trump proxy in Great Britain
like the
for the QAnon problems, right? Brexit. Him and Neil Farage. Brexit. Kick the brown people out. Kick the brown people out. Brexit. Kick the brown people out.
That's not what it is.
Right? Brexit is a racist agenda from top to bottom.
It was about political corruption.
I'll debate you. And then, but then, Boris Johnson made a mistake. He looked at the reporting from the United States of America, and he understood the fact that sometimes people in elections and understood that Joe Biden had clearly won the election. And then do you think that Boris Johnson said to himself or said to the world, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go like I'm pulled Donald Trump. I'm just going to go into social media and issue a comment without talking to people in my office.
You already stole all my accounts.
Don't you know from a damn certainty that Boris Johnson, Oxford-educated Boris Johnson, turned to his cabinet equivalent or whatever, his advisors, and said, is it time for me to make a congratulations to one of the candidates? Yes. Which one? Biden.
No, it's okay, so a day or two. Okay, Steve.
Now, because he had the audacity of going against
Mr. Funky Neighbor says, well said, Jay. It's right.
Donald
Shows
Trump.
you gullible people
now
are.
Now, son, Boris Johnson is an enemy.
That's a bomb. You can't even say a
QAnon
sentence.
supporters in Britain. Okay,
Then Funky Neighbor
Go
says
ahead
he
and make
thinks
Donald
he had
Trump
a hard
supporters in Britain.
childhood.
Why?
Try being raised
Go ahead and
by
make
a
Boris
Time
Johnson
Lord,
your enemy.
and your
Right?
mother
Now
was
what's the
a
result?
Derrick.
You're going to have a better time of it. Why?
Pretty
Because
unprovable.
Brexit breaks your fucking ass. Do you understand?
When your
Here's a
dick
prediction
falls
that
in
no one's
somebody's
gonna like, but
ass,
it's fucking
it
true,
could
and I
break
hate
it.
it because I have friends.
Thank goodness you don't really have a penis.
Brexit, the economic effects, knock-on effects of
Tag
Brexit,
Monica
on top of
Lampy
the
as an
economic
infiltrator.
knock-on effects of COVID-19, are going to make 2020's Britain. They're going to make Margaret
This is about
Thatcher's
wing
Britain
makers.
look like
And
Tony
democide the
Blair's
globe.
Britain. We're all going to be sucking dick.
You want everybody in a
We're
pod.
all going to be sucking dick.
No, we're not.
Ridiculous.
You're the one that wants to suck other men's dicks. Get that worm. Make sure you got all the boogie out. Because it's stringy.
Boris Johnson is wise to keep his head down. It's nothing to do with the European Union. But then Sun Park says Boris Johnson's a good guy. He's floundering, though. But he is a good guy. But he's an ally of President Trump. And he's been told, keep a low profile because if things get
Phil
very
B
well,
says your videos on the kook.
you're going to be targeted by the bad
DJT
people. Okay.
lawyer was awesome. Would make a good primer for newbies to conspiracy world. Love you, brother. I'll be about 30
Don't
minutes
let yourself be sideswiped by the news of stuff that's not actually true. Listen to trusted sources like Simon Parks, former city councilman, former driving instructor.
Unwanted commercial content or spam.
So what? At 18 minutes, what would the 4-year term of the next 4 years for President Trump look like? He says it would probably be clean out for the FBI, the CIA. But meanwhile, okay, we know that City Powell identified CIA as deep state operators who formed Al Qaeda. See, because you're going to have to do that. Because Alex Jones is known as the CIA, and everyone knows the CIA.
Hashtag Simon Parks.
So the CIA
hashtag election 2020. Hashtag real time. Hashtag update.
So there has to be a clean out of the FBI too.
65 minutes to
so
go.
So if the FBI
52 are watching.
Guys,
13 thumbs up, 7 down. This is your legal system at work.
Uniform.
This is how they steal your tax dollars out of your bank.
Everyone else can suck a dick. I get it. No, I get it. You know,
and he has AIDS. And he keeps shoving his penis.
In reality, there's not going to be an next 4 years of Donald Trump. I'll bet you $5 Simon Parks because Joe Biden won the election. Sorry.
You have no idea who's who and what's what. You've been mentally ill for over 3 decades.
He agrees with Robert David Steele that 90% of U.S. intelligence are good psychiatrists. First of all, that's just the CIA. A member of the CIA, a former member of the CIA. There's no former members of the CIA. Robert David Steele has told me that 90%. This is a matter of U.S. intelligence is good people. Then why is 90% of U.S. intelligence doing nothing when there's a coup against the president?
It took you 8 years to go to college to take your.
If 90% of U.S. military intelligence are good people, first of all, the FBI are not military, are not U.S. intelligence per se. They're federal law enforcement, but okay.
Look at him.
Some person is probably better than 95% of them are good guys. Yeah, I remember this is like you talk to my uncles are Freemason. They never tell the bottom rung people what's going on. They think they're doing good things. They think they're doing community drives. Meanwhile, they're serving a gay transhumanist agenda. This is all the military. Oh, the military, all good guys. Military is full with them.
Gay used to be light and happy.
The U.S. military.
Not an FA-double-G-O-T.
Simon Parks told the U.S. military won't have Biden as commander-in-chief. They had Barack Obama as commander-in-chief.
And an FA-single-G is a cigarette.
I love people who serve in the military. I do. Because I love everybody. I say everyone's a child of God, child of goddess. You know the kind of people who become cops. You know the kind of people that join the military. Some people join the military to pay for their education.
The Native American,
the military person is bad.
Our true
you know
soldiers.
Fucking diehard racists are in the military. You know how many conservative douchebag assholes are in the military? So many.
I'm involved in many groups.
You know what I mean?
The tribal council.
They're all good guys. I'll tell you nothing.
And you guys said to send me out to the periphery through Z and CCN.
When you join the military, the U.S. military,
what do you know of it?
Aptitude test to figure out how smart you are. Depending on how smart you are, they
you were mentally ill.
So, for example, if you're super
that's why you couldn't serve.
This is a person that can do a translation.
Plus, your physical form isn't good enough to serve.
Radar analysis, right? Or they could operate. If you're a little bit less intelligent, they might say, well, you can operate a tank.
I think you're implying
it's a complicated. The inside of a tank is almost like the inside of a plane. That is a complicated team sport to operate a tank. There's weapon systems to its mobility.
And character
it's not easy. Okay? Then a little bit less down, they have people that can drive
Chandler, you're so far
a stick shift vehicle like
you keep swatting up.
or truck. And the lowest qualification, this is, I had a friend who joined the Army.
It has nothing to do with how many subs you have.
The lowest qualification is, look at the lowest IQs. Okay, hold on.
Popularity contests are usually corrupt.
Lowest IQ score possible for U.S. military service. Is it truly illegal for the U.S. Armed Forces to hire someone? Is it?
Not you.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so here's the question. This is like, I forget what this is.
Of course you forget.
Exchange?
The names
Well, here's
are
the
always
question. Is it truly illegal for the U.S. Armed Forces to
forgetfulness
hire
is
someone whose IQ is less than 83? Oh, this is because Jordan Peterson did a statement that the U.S. Armed Forces, that they can't let anyone into the U.S. Armed Forces if they have an IQ less than 83. Now here's the answer. Applicants are required by military regulation to have a percentile score on a standardized test called the ASVAB that is 31 or more, which is roughly comparable to an IQ score on the Stanford Binet scale of a little bit less than 32. For high school graduates seeking to enter the Army or Navy or other services that have more strict requirements, the guard must have an SVAB score of the 50th percentile, which is equivalent to an IQ of 100. U.S. law allows the Department of Defense to allow people with a percentile score in their ASVAB that is as low as 10 if it chooses to do so. An IQ score of 83 on the Stanford Binet scale is the 14th percentile of the general population, and is very close to the 10th percentile score in ASVAB.
We only used to use 4% of our brain, but now we use 10 to tag it.
Close to the truth, although the reality is somewhat more complicated. I don't know if that told me anything. I'm not that smart either. You know what? That's truly kind. I was like, well, look at these numbers. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. Anyway, I know this is that my friend told me that when he joined the Army, the stupidest guy in his platoon had scored so low on the test that all he was qualified to do was drive an automatic vehicle.
No,
he couldn't drive a stick shift.
Watermelons on the truck.
Drive like an automatic vehicle. I don't know if that means anything. It's an anecdotal story. So the point is that there's morons in the military.
They'll always remember the time where most of the people that lived here in America
President Trump joined the Sound Parks will set up his own social media company.
That's the group you're in.
That'll be great.
That's why he tries so hard.
And he's not going to leave the White House to start a social media company.
Nobody wants
but he needs a voice.
the center
That's
of the
what
government to be
That's not anything like
fascism.
fascism. The President of the United States of America, after a highly contested election that he lost the money and setting up his own social media company so he went to control. That's not freaky.
You never thought
It also
about
might be a violation of the emolument clause, I think.
Sounds like loopholes and jurisprudence.
Oh, but what it'll be in the next 4 years of Donald Trump, it'll be a delivery of all the things that we were promised in the first term that Donald Trump wasn't able
You have
to
no idea.
give us. Remember, why should we support Donald Trump? He's gonna stop child human trafficking, the sexual exploitation of children. He's gonna do disclosure. He's going to drain the swamp. He's going to send Hillary Clinton's clone android to Guantanamo Bay for a military tribunal. The global currency reset, Chaucer and Enser. He's going to do all these things. He did none of them. For years, we were told it's about to happen, it's about to happen, it's about to happen. Oh, it's time for him to be up for re-election. We got to vote him in again because then he's going to do all the things that you said he was going to do the first time around, but couldn't. Why couldn't he? Because he's inept, because he's stupid, because he was never intended to do conspiracy theory shit to begin with. No, it was because Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are satanic pedophiles. Sure. So now we're going to get everything we didn't get before. We're going to get nothing because he's not going to be president for 4 years.
But this is about Scrooge. And we're in the holiday time.
So Simon Park says, if you think that Donald Trump was a plant for the deep state or failed, you're wrong. And this proves you wrong. Because if Trump was a plant from the deep state, they'd keep him in. The fact that they want him out shows how dangerous he is. Okay, sure. Then so you're saying the deep state failed to keep him out in the first place. But if he was a member of the deep state, then they'd want to keep him in. Well, Simon, if he was truly a member of the deep state, wouldn't they have got him in the first place? And
in the deep state, they keep you around so you can play out your final role.
I got 8 minutes before I got to be out the door. We now understand why he couldn't do the things in the first term that we wanted him to do. And why was that, Simon? Now we see the power of the enemy. Wait, what? This is like self-fulfilling prophecies out the wazoo. This makes no sense. I get. Ultimately, they're not going to prevail. Well, they prevailed. Donald Trump is not going to be president. Donald Trump is pretty tough. We could take this. Stay true. Don't listen to mainstream media. Listen to Simon Parks. It was always meant to happen. But wait, you just said that this is a demonstration of how the deep state is so powerful. But then it's a part of the plan anyway because Donald Trump wanted it to happen because now he can lure them in. It's like the rope-a-dope, like Muhammad Ali. He lets you kick his ass for the first couple of rounds to give you a false sense of confidence and to also tire you out. And then he...
It's about misuse of biometrics in the bank.
Oh my God, he's literally talking about the 7 stages of grief now. Brilliant. The irony.
Yeah, I went through it like 20 years ago. Big deal. Chandler's still in his midlife crisis. That's why he's such a mess.
It's an opportunity. Oh, I can't take this anymore.
Whose fault is that? You started it.
Oh, now that you know that you can't believe what you've been told, Simon Parks is now going to show you.
I don't know, Mr. Parks.
About the truth about the monsters that tried to enter this election. Like, what?
I put more relevant information out than anybody.
It's going to actually be a real focal point for dramatic change on this planet. How so? I don't know, but you know. He said something what they're calling Kasara, the real change. I think he's come up with a global currency reset that's called Jasara. And Sarah, it's weird that he said Kasara because there's a song. Que Sera Sera, and there's also
trying to connect it to music I love.
It's the Lisa Culture song too. Kasera. Now we did. We talked about the 14th, the 15th, and 17th. Remember that Simon Parks previously been telling us that on Thanksgiving, November 25th, 26th, we would be seeing something. Now it's December 15th.
Will your daughters and your ex-wife be joining you?
Great movement of awakening. It's the same promises, same New Age promises they've been telling us since 1968.
I was a 3-year-old
a new fresh wave of pure energy. Clearing away all of the rubbish.
What?
We'll wash all that rubbish away. So with a nice piece of clean sand, you know, tabula rasa with Donald Trump. Clean energy with Donald Trump. Pussy grabber. Homophobe. Bigot. Racist. Child. Loser. Business failure. Money born into riches. Silver spoon in his mouth. That's clean energy. That's a clean palladium light beam that we can all rainbow bridge on. It's a joke. It's sad. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm so confident that Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. That these people are going to have to eat their words and come up with some crazy conspiracy theories that it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild and beautiful. I haven't been watching the live.
Matt Hunter is who you call Hunter Biden.
Silent Parts. Hopefully it didn't result in too much dead air.
I've gone over all the names in the
and I kept you going strong. Alfie Solomons, I want to know what you're feeling. I want to know what's on your mind. Pure energy. I want to know. The Information Society. I have it on good information.
But you can't perceive the data.
Insiders at Information Society.
You don't need any more. It already broke you like a
beautiful
twig.
Cole. That's it.
Tubby.
There you go. Donald Trump.
Your jelly roll done lapped over your brain.
Pure energy, like. Let's build a wall between us and the human.
Oh, I don't have
Nothing
to.
Says Kirkland energy, like
be mined by the people.
Nothing says
we'll be a million miles away.
Trade embargoes and problems
forever.
It's ridiculous stuff. Spooky says we don't talk like that, you cretin. Okay, at which point I have to give my patented spooky impersonation. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I was on a late night sex call with Spooky the other night, and she said, if I'm lying, I'm dying. She said, "Freshen your teeth, governor," which is code for you want another handscape. There you go. Tinfoil Hatter says, "Peace through superior toughness." Big league.
A group of people terrorizing anybody.
We'll see. We'll see.
If they don't stand up and take notice
possible
and do something,
gonna have to come to you.
Then there is no new world for those people.
You know why Donald Trump is president for the next 4 years.
It's irrelevant to
I'll
me.
probably be in the underground fighting resistance. Matt Finger says poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Well, a lot of poor kids are white kids, so I don't know. If I said something ambiguous or jerky
or erroneous,
if you saw me shine your shoes, governor. There you go. There you go. Spooky says it didn't last long anyway, then. That's what she said. That's what she said.
4 years has lasted too long. And we never had any calculation of that.
Oh my God. Is that bigoted? No, bigoted. Just starts says, meanwhile, I just ran over something in my driveway. Oh, hope he didn't confess to a crime.
What? Another cat.
A Victor Sarge,
a black cat.
Put a comment in your live chat at 1300 hours. I don't see a military timestamp, but we were there when Victor Sarge, which is, it comes up as his screen name, did make a comment in the live chat. And what comment was that, Mr. Sophia? He said, meanwhile, I just put something in my driveway. Would you say that acted as a confession? You're asking me for a conclusion of law. I can only tell you what he said there.
That's secondhand information.
Did he make any other comments on the live chat? The next day there was a series of comments. How would you characterize the comments? They seemed, agitated. At one point, one of the moderators. What is a moderator, Mr. Zavard? A moderator is just someone who you designate as having the power to delete or edit comments or time people out.
Or the pot wife.
And what did this moderator do? I believe that many of the moderators and other participants said to Victor, you're confessing to crimes and you should, not be saying these things, even if you're joking. What was he saying? I killed the bitch, I killed her, I drove her over my driveway, I had sex with her corpse, I buried her corpse, I dug it back up and had sex with her.
It's all a joke.
This is not something I'm comfortable talking about. Do you mean Dean of Mr. Savani? Yeah, I'm kind of a pussy if I can have just acting. And it's 3:31.
I'm not an actress.
We're going to end on that scene. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you to Simon Parks for providing us with something to talk about today. More of the same bullshit. But I really do got to go. So I got to go.
He's got to run.
But I do love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Coffee ground down
Today somebody just did that.
He doesn't love anyone. That's the saddest part. Let me bring up the other one. We'll discuss the Kraken a little bit more. Which, once again, the book is still on my desk as the reference manual. Not anybody else's. Just a minute. Okay. This is going to be to do with the Kraken, unless he already took it down. Because he's got a new one up that wasn't there before. Switched out with another one. And it's called Tragedy Strikes Tracy Beans. Her house burns down. Is the alternate fire beginning? Well, they've tried to burn my house down. And Tracy Beans has been many different faces. And this girl pursing her lips is not the one in the political rallies. Let's do this one first.
They were talking about this in Congress. And what's up, Citizen Zone? It's your boy Manuel. And today there was some things happening in Congress.
I bet Sandro knows Manuel Hernandez.
They were talking about disinformation and other things with the people in the government, because apparently that whole Hunter Biden laptop snafu, I guess they were getting in a little bit of trouble for it, but not the kind of trouble that you thought they were going to be getting in for it, which I thought was strange, but hey, this is how these things go, so it is what it is. So let's take a look at it. Jack Dorsey says that it was a mistake to censor the CBP chief over his border wall tweets, and apparently, I guess both sides of the government are saying that some of the things that Twitter has been doing.
Either way it goes, you're both sides are guilty.
And it's good that they
rectified
them. And yeah, it was a lot of Republicans that were getting angry about people getting censored on the platform, but at the same time, there are Democrats that are actually trying to look at maybe
one sentence what exactly
guys have the ability to do on some of these platforms. Perhaps in a very interesting turn of events, both Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey got grilled. I mean, CNN is saying that they got grilled in the Senate over their moderation practices. And I mean,
it's the Illuminati deck where they put real people under these aliases.
The issue at hand is that their content moderation policies seem to have been
very part of the terrorist act after
the election, to the point where so many people were basically silenced because they shared a tweet. They tweeted an article
6 degrees of separation
that didn't agree with the mainstream media. And I mean, this is all just kind of important because they're saying that when Trump is out of office and no longer the president, they're going to be sweeping him directly off the Twitter platform as fast as they possibly can. And I mean, there was talk about encryption plans, remote work, and the whole 9 yards. But do you really think that Twitter and Facebook have the ability to deal with this right now? Politico says it's partisan rancor that sets to flare as the CEO's face on Capitol Hill. And if you don't realize it, it's actually the third time this thing's happened. And it's probably going to be the third time that maybe nothing has really changed, or maybe what? This one might be the
tag making relevant news irrelevant. And the bad guys and assholes still running things and bleeding us white with a sharp, flat knife. It's the blood sacrifice.
In the real life thing, as lawmakers
and this psycho cult of liars
moderate content, we're all of a sudden going to be seeing the reality of what these guys want from us or what they want from other people. And it's Democrats like Richard Blumenthal that kind of put it together. They're specifically talking about how Facebook and Twitter are taking enough steps to censor people such as Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, and a host of other folks that have suggested ridiculous things in the way of Anthony Fauci or other spokes.
What Republicans and Democrats agreed on was that Facebook and Twitter have enforced their policies inconsistently and often without alluding why they had taken the steps they did in the first place, says Senator Tom Tillis, North Carolina, Veterans Day Post.
To actually have out there, because we all know that social media is big. Facebook and Twitter are huge, but they still work in comparison to the
shadow banning
information
from YouTube videos.
About one of the biggest points that we should take away from it is that the Democrats are actually talking about more regulation of the technology industry. They still want to regulate it even more, take down more disinformation or misinformation. They want the companies to do much better. And they say, I think you can do much better. That's at least what Patrick Leahy, Democrat of Vermont, says, is they think that we can do better. They have built terrifying tools of persuasion and manipulation that are far exceeding the robber barons of the last Gilded Age. You have made huge money by strip mining data for private lives and promoting hate speech and voter suppression. That was from Richard Blumenthal. That's something that's very crazy. I mean, sure, Zuckerberg says that he's going to stay more vigilant.
Usually these stories don't represent the right things. They use other terms, and there's a code underneath it.
This draws us back into technology's legal shield, Section 230, the communication.
No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Here again, setting up someone that does their own research.
I mean, this is
that's treasonous.
Shield that I think doesn't really get applied to the user base as much. And 230 says that no provider or
Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Content or information provided by another content provider. Meaning, if you're sharing things on the internet as a user of a platform, you should not be subjected to being banned and all that other jazz, because you have the exact same legal shield that these platforms do.
It sounds like plausible deniability for the bot propaganda push and these shill YouTubers, where if I do something with my own facts, figures, and statistics, I should be scrutinized, which is why I was shadow banned. So it's an inversion of what the law was really meant to do, which is protect the honest person.
To make sure that the platforms were more accountable, not the people, the platforms, because right now it doesn't seem like they are. Really, about the only main focus that we got from anybody today was Jack Dorsey.
Tag a corporation's rights to have full autonomy just like a person would, while they do their destruction, one and the same.
I'm not mad about him clearing up the platform, getting rid of some people all over the place. No, they're just asking about this, and then he's just pushing back to Section 230, saying Section 230 has created so much goodness and innovation. If we didn't have those protections when we started Twitter 14 years ago, we could not start, says Mr. Dorsey. I think we need a line around the problem we're trying to solve. And yeah, he knows that, hey, without 230, he would have been in a whole lot of trouble. But the thing is now he's just trying to protect himself from 230, but not actually trying to protect his user base. How crazy is that? So what do you think? Third time's a charm on this particular situation? Probably, maybe they're going to be doing something, but I don't know. You know, with Biden basically being president-elect and everything not looking very good, it's not going to seem like we're going to get the kind of ups that we were looking at. You know, Trump was actually going after Section 230, and I made sure to put it out there that you guys should remember that you're also able yeah, you're supposed to be protected by the same things as Section 230s that the platforms are. Like, if you're just sharing information that you found on the internet from somebody else, you aren't supposed to be liable for that, like, legally. But apparently now the platforms are saying, well, no, that gives us the ability to make our own private rules and shut you down, which is what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks, well, years, really. I mean, you know, we've seen people getting taken out for a bunch of different reasons in a bunch of different ways, but here we are now watching the thing happen once again. But, you know, they're really not asking them on the left to stop. They're just asking them, hey, when are you going to do it better the way that we like it? And that should probably scare you maybe just a little bit. It's a fight for the internet. It's not just...
That's you guys' problem with me. You want to control how I do what I do, and you don't like me.
So let me know what you think in the comments.
I think you're a dangerous, overweight, childish baby playing hitman.
Love. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you again.
Your eye looks like crap.
Se aferró al bien. Y el se sintió solo. Y quiso
by about 10 people today. Shots of the same thing. You know, all different people basically. Somebody under one of Julie's videos saying that they're my sister, my brother's wife. First of all, nice try, whoever the fuck that is, because I've seen that person before. They've left comments on my videos before threatening. Dude, like, why don't you learn how she talks and everything before you try to imitate her? A, she would never ever in a million years call me Lee. I don't even know if she would know to call me that. So I've never spoke with her. So that's the first thing. The person refers to me as Lee. No, she's never called me that. She's always called me Leanna anytime she's talked about me. The other thing is she's complaining about people reaching out to her. Well, you got your fucking phone there. That's pretty genius, right? What else? I mean, just everything about it is bullshit. It doesn't sound like her. And, you know, so she's being daft, basically, in Jules' comment. Jules is a fucking idiot, too, because she's entertaining this other asshole news clips watching who's saying to contact people on my son's hockey team. Like, what? Why? What the fuck does that have to do with it?
Because you're setting up.
And she's like, yeah. She's a fucking asshole. Leaving it up there. You fucking asshole that she is. So, but, you know, I expect nothing less from these people, Laura. I really don't. And is that email? Wait, hold on. So, Diane, let me ask you something, Diane. You're saying that you know she called on you, but you don't think that she would call on me. Really? That's what you're saying, Diane. I thought you said you were smart. You can't be that fucking stupid. No, I never said I know for sure. I never once said that. Ever. And I believe that somebody, I mean, she wrote the same thing. I can't. Because Laura has said things about her, and she's vindictive, dude. She's shown us that. So, I mean, I would hope she wouldn't do that, but just going on her past actions to take the time out of her day to call St. Jude. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she
You guys scam me through St. Jude.
A fucking organization.
Totally Tucker and awesome.
She has. So, is it that, like, out of character? Not really. BTS making excuses for Diane not going to fly with me right now because, and I'm not saying you are, but that's because Diane, even in Tiffany's chat, is a fucking joke and a half. The fact that she's even fucking in there is a joke and a half.
What's a joke and a half?
BTS is, I'm sorry, not BTS. Tiffany's accused me of going real life 5 different times. Gee, was she setting me up? Is that why she was setting me up?
And of course, DeFango, the elusive man, Citizen Zone, didn't say a word about the cracking on the video that I thought it was. And it all comes from this book and how they used it with church and politics to set up inquisitions on people since the United States was founded. And done through Europe, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to sponsor to maybe go real life in retaliation.
You guys went real life on me. That's what this is all about, real life.
Laura, this girl, seriously, she wants to consume everybody's time. She said it multiple times. Just like she told me she doesn't have a fucking heart. You know, she's not fucking right in the head. Wait a minute for a second. Thank you, BTS. Exactly. I never fucking said she called, ever. I said I got an email. That's
right. The big fight. And then so, oh, I didn't say this, I said that. It's the same thing on every one of these drama or true crime communities. But what it does is it skews the evidence so it becomes irrelevant. And that's what happened to me for a few years while everybody was playing. But here again, if the computer can't figure this out, well then it's way worse than a simple global hack. It's about insanity in the technology itself. It's a relevant question. So, I think I've had enough. This is short and sweet. Most people can't even handle 5 minutes of it. So, we'll
Tiffany's defending
break later with whatever I feel like.
Go ahead, stay in there, Diane. Diane will do anything for fucking gossip and fucking. She'll talk to anybody.